Just before we move on, I just want to second that from myself personally and Catherine and all of the team. Peter has been an incredible mentor for me over the last 9 years. Catherine, 15 years, I think. So yeah, thank you very much from all of us, Peter. Okay, it's my privilege now to announce the New Londoner of the Year 2024. The New Londoner of the Year award celebrates those who, during their careers, have had a significant impact in shaping a new London and are making a positive contribution to the city. Our New Londoner of the Year 2024 has a track record in urban policy at every level of government, from neighbourhood to national. Having been elected as a Labour councillor in 2010, she became Leader of Camden Council in 2017. Alongside her leadership at Camden, she took on the role of Chair of London Councils in 2020 and was also Chair of Euston Strategic Board, where she provided strategic leadership for regeneration and growth in and around Euston Station. Earlier this year, she entered the House of Commons following the general election, concluding 14 years of service to the people of Camden, during which time she supported communities through the upheavals of the coronavirus pandemic and cost of living crisis. In tandem with her work for government, she is a published author. Her 2015 book, Wasted: How Misunderstanding Young Britain Threatens Our Future, calls on establishment figures to engage with the creativity and entrepreneurialism of Britain's often misunderstood younger generation. Her achievements, both in the political sphere and outside of it, perfectly align with the pillars of the New London agenda that have underpinned the awards that we presented here today. Our New London for 2024 has, through her work, upheld NLA's core values of taking responsibility, providing clarity, and building trust between Londoners. Therefore, I'm delighted to present the New Londoner of the Year award to Georgia Gould. Georgia, congratulations, and I invite you up to speak,
Thank you for the incredibly kind words, and I'm so delighted to be here today with so many people who are contributing to London's story. And I was just reflecting that the last time I was with lots of people from the kind of London community was UK Reef, where Jules and I often do a double act, and we were doing a double act representing London, and we started to get texts saying, there might be a general election, and I remember thinking, no, they never would. And then we had the general election, and we're in a very different world today, but it's wonderful to be back with so many London friends, and NLA plays such a critical role in drawing together the creativity of our city, bringing together different sectors and communities, and it is such an honour to be recognised today by NLA, so much so that I even brought my mum along, and she never comes to anything I do, so... So thank you, NLA, for that. But I think when sometimes, we talked in the introduction about trust and the importance of building trust, and development in London sometimes has struggled with trust, and communities can fear that development means that they will be pushed out of the places that they live and away from their communities. But I think today, and the beautiful projects that we have seen, have shown that a different kind of development is possible, one that kind of honours the stories of the communities that live there, that provides social housing, that provides community facilities. So it's been really inspiring to see so many projects, and the architects and the developers and all of those working on those projects to really bring community voice and placemaking into how we do development, and that is what rebuilds trust fundamentally. And I was thinking, about this event today and the city of London and what it means to me. And I was thinking about my great-grandfather, who came here as a 15-year-old fleeing the pogroms of Lithuania. And I recently did a tour of the East End, and I felt like walking those streets was like tracing my history, and we saw the Jewish soup kitchen and the places that welcomed people, and was thinking about how he must have found his way and the support from strangers that wrapped around him and allowed him to build a life here. And he eventually worked his way up to open a shop on Kilburn High Road, which is now in the constituency I represent, Queen's Park and Maida Vale. And that is so much the London story, one that welcomes people from so many different communities. I was born in St Mary's Hospital. I grew up in Bayswater. I didn't used to talk about that much when I was Leader of Camden, but now as an MP for Queen's Park and Maida Vale, I talk about that a lot. And but those parts of London, I think, have the same qualities that we see across our city, which is the strength of our social mix, housing of all types right next to each other, often businesses next to communities. The kind of porousness and organicness of London, I think, is one of our great strengths. And it means that, when I go to the local children's centre or soft play, which is my main social life at the moment, I meet people from kind of all different backgrounds. And that is what I really love about London, that makes us such a world-leading city, I think. It's our green space, our history, our vibrancy, our arts and culture, but the way it grows and changes to accept the new ideas, new architecture, new communities, and folds that into the rich and deep history of our city. And it's constantly evolving. King's Cross, I remember when I was a kid, would be where we kind of sneak out, where we didn't want our parents to know where we was going, and now it's just this absolutely stunning development that kind of talks to its history. And White City, where I've been travelling to since I was 6 to go and support Queen's Park Rangers, has transformed, but you can still get the best falafels at Shepherd's Bush Market. And London's dynamism is constant, that ability to welcome new communities. And I think the creativity and energy our mix brings is unparalleled. With food, music, art, culture, ideas, London flows with it all. And in the jobs that I've had, I've been really lucky to see so many sides of our city and meet so many different communities. And I think doing that, and anyone who does development will know this, is London is really a series of villages where people really care deeply about their local area, and they go out of their way to help each other. And I saw that during COVID when the mutual aid groups sprung up almost overnight, when we saw Afghan refugees come to this country with nothing. It was our communities, our faith groups that came together to provide clothes and support. And chairing the London Partnership Board alongside the Mayor of London, I met so many different faith and voluntary organisations, businesses, university leaders who were all in different ways passionately committed to delivering for London. And then on the ground in Queen's Park and Maida Vale, I meet every week people who share that vision, community gardeners, boxing clubs, arts organisations, all volunteers who are passionate about giving back. But I think we can't be complacent about that mix that makes us special, because I think the other story that I've seen over the last 14 years is how the inequality in London has grown, how many Londoners have found that they can't afford to stay in the city. And we see these vast gaps, 20-year gaps between people in the same borough, whether it's in Camden or Westminster, in life expectancy, and how too many people still feel cut out of the opportunity on their doorstep. And there was some research we did in Camden that showed that young people growing up in very unequal places where there is a lot of affluence, growing up in deprivation, actually have poorer health outcomes, particularly mental health outcomes, and those growing up in places where there is a lot of deprivation, because they can see what they can't access. So I think that we all have a responsibility to help retain London's social mix and to make sure that the opportunities and the wealth in London is available to all, and that the places that we create are truly accessible, whether that's housing that our communities can really live in, or the kind of spaces that aren't just safe, but places that people can afford to shop in, that there are spaces that they can come and spend time for free and feel that they are part of, and that honour the history of our communities. And but as I think about all of this, I feel really optimistic because of the work of the NLA, the Mayor of London, London councils and the boroughs in in London, and all the different people who I think share a common vision, many of whom are here today. And I don't think that there are challenges in London that we can't collectively fix with the kind of creativity and resource that we have in our city. And now, as I have a new role as part of the Labour government, for me, missions provide a really exciting opportunity to connect the work that's happening in local government, regional government, and national government, to bring us together around a shared purpose, to have that golden thread that connects the work of the private sector, of communities, and of government. So I am really excited to continue to work with all the brilliant people here. And I know that this group of Londoners will take up the work of generations before us to ensure that the city keeps its mix, its dynamism, its beauty, and its spirit. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Georgia, and congratulations. We've now come to the end of the award ceremony, so congratulations to all of our winners and the commended projects, of course, and also congratulations to everyone who's been shortlisted. The schemes showcased here today clearly demonstrate the richness and variety of London's architecture and design scene, and all of you in the room continue to make the city the creative centre